train on cash value and how we've overcome it within the presentation itself. Right, so I'll today go over how to touch on cash value if the client doesn't have any cash value. Because what we want to do is we want to talk about it because we know these cash value agents are everywhere, right? And it's always best to touch on it, and then when the client gives you a call and be like, hey, somebody talked to me about this amazing product, you can say, remember when I talked about this, instead of having to do a whole nother meeting explaining why, right? Because if you've touched on it before, they're like, oh, yeah, I remember that, right? And that's an easy fix there, than having to go and do a whole hour-long presentation of why cash value sucks. And now they're wondering, why did you never even mention this to me? And so, you guys probably know Peter was my field trainer at first, right? And by field trainer, I mean, we first started the business, he was coming home at like 10 p.m. at night, smelling like Vietnamese food, right? He didn't want to eat dinner, and I'm like, where is this guy going? Right, so I'm just tagging along to appointments now. So I'm tagging along with him, and I'm just hearing him do the presentation, how he destroys cash value, how he replaces them, how he goes over the policies, and that's how I learned, right? So now, Thomas, if you can pull up a QA for me, I'll go over that. So I guess I'll role play with my favorite person, Chandel, here, of how I go over this here. So Peter's going to go over if they do have a policy, what he says, and then also if they have a policy, they're not willing to share that with us, what he says as well. So let's act like Chandel doesn't have a cash value product, and you just have, let's say, group life insurance, okay? So, all right, so I've already, at this point, I've destroyed employer coverage already. So I've gone over that, I've destroyed employer coverage, and I'll say, Chandel, so we can both agree here that having group life is very risky, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and when it comes to your family, how much risk do you want to take?
None.
None. So the best way to manage that risk is to get a private life insurance policy where you have full control over it, right? And there's two ways you can do that. Now, Chandel, if I was just like any regular life insurance agent, I'm going to tell you, get a cash value life insurance product. This has life insurance and savings attached to it. What I'll also tell you, Chandel, is it has both, right? You might be able to use the savings for college savings for your kids. Maybe to start a business, you can take it out if there's a rainy day, you can use that money, and guess what? You don't even have to die to use this product. Right? So sounds pretty good so far. Right now, what I would conveniently forget to mention to you is this is 5 to 10 times more expensive than it should be. Right now, we're lucky here today, Chandel, because I have 3 kids. I don't get much sleep. So the very few sleep I do get, I like to go to sleep with a good conscience. Right? So I'm not going to sell you this product. Right? So I'm not going to sell you this product, right? Because our company, we really believe in teaching our clients about financial education and becoming financially independent and not relying on life insurance for their whole life. And so I want to share an example here with you of how the savings portion in this cash value product really works. Now, these are going to be very funny questions, and they're going to be very obvious, but just play along with me here, have some fun with me, okay? Right, so Chandel, let's say there's Bank A and Bank B. Bank A says when you put the money into the bank, you're going to get a high rate of return. Remember the compound interest slide we went over?
Yeah.
That's going to be working in your favor. Bank B says you get a very low rate of return. Which bank would you bank at here? A, of course. And once your money is in the bank, right, Bank A says this is your hard-earned money, you worked hard for this, you can use it however you like. Right, Bank B says, thank you for doing business with us, but the first 3 to 5 years, I'm probably not going to see you here because you're going to have no money in here. Right, now, after the 5 years, you might have some money, but Chandel, you're going to have to borrow from that, and you're going to have to pay me back with interest. Who would you bank at here?
Definitely A.
Definitely A. Right, and when you pass away, Chandel, your money is passed to your survivors, Bank A says. You know, your kids, what are their names again?
Bailey.
Bailey?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bailey will get all the hard-earned money that you have in here if you passed away. Right, Bank B says, you know what, we're just going to keep every single penny you have just for doing business with us, even if you pass away. Which one would you bank at here?
A.
A, of course. So if I I tell you like this, directly, right, how Bank B works, would you ever bank at Bank B?
No, never.
Never. And this is exactly how the cash value works in these products, right? Now, I always use an example here. So let's say you go to a store, right? And you go in, the sales representatives really sells you on this really nice pair of heels, right? These heels can allow you to do anything you want, right? Achieve all your dreams, right? But it's gonna be really expensive, right? You buy this pair of heels, you go home, you open the box, you look at the receipt, and you find out, hey, the price you paid wasn't for both heels, it was just for one. How would you feel about that?
Terrible.
You'd be terrible, right? So how fast would you want to go back to the store and return these shoes? Immediately, right? So this is exactly how these products work. Most people, they just don't open the box. They don't know what's inside of that box, right? So let's say you went with a friend, right? Let's say you went with a friend, you guys both bought the same pair of shoes. You open the box first. How fast would you want to tell your friend to open that box and return those shoes?
As soon as possible.
So I know you don't have this product, Chanel, but many people, a lot of times later on, Peter is going to ask for referrals from you. And a lot of times you're going to say, hey, this person already has a financial advisor. They already have a plan. They already have life insurance. 9 of the 10 times they have a product just like this. Right? So just like you would want to know as soon as possible, please don't count those names out and send those referrals to Peter as well. Right? So that's kind of where I go on because they don't have this product. You don't want to go too much into it where you're just overwhelming them with knowledge. I just wanted to plant the seed in there that if this does happen to them in the future, they're going to come to me and talk to me about it. And also, it really helps the trainee that when it comes to the point where getting referrals, most people say, oh, my friend, they really, like they know their finances, they already have everything. And that overcomes that objection of, still being able to get those referrals there. Okay, so that's all I'm going over today. So Peter's gonna go over the fridges portion. He's gonna go over what to do if a client does have their policy, and then, of course, if they're not willing to share their policy with you, and how to get those policies as well. So give it up to Peter Tran.
Alright, so this sounds terrible, and then we know this is terrible, we will never buy it. But how do whole life agents sell these products? Right, so in the next slide, we're going to go over fridges, and this is really how they kind of sell it. Being a whole life agent before myself, once upon a time, with high recruiting me to PM. So we're gonna use an example like you're buying a refrigerator. So for example, if you bought a refrigerator from Sears, they don't exist anymore, but for this example, they still exist. We buy a refrigerator from Sears. This refrigerator is the same exact refrigerator is being sold at Best Buy. Sears sells the refrigerator for $2,000, and Sears said you keep it for 20 years, you're gonna get all your money back. You don't have to return the refrigerator. You get your $2,000 back if you bought it with us today. Best Buy sell it for half the price, but you don't get anything back. So where would you guys buy your refrigerator here, guys? Sears, right? Because essentially it's all like you're getting it for free. Right? Now, the reason why they sell it like this because a lot of the agents, they don't have an investment license, and they forgot to mention and share with you the rule of 72. So because we educate our client on how money works, understanding the rule of 72, saying that if you take the number 72 and you divide it by the interest rate that you earn on your money, it will tell you how long it takes for your money to double. So understanding how the rule 72 works now, if you were to buy the refrigerator from Best Buy, and you invested the other $1,000, 72 divided by 7, let's say you get 7% on your money. Every 10 years your money will double. So that 1,000 now, 10 years later will become 2,000. 20 years later will become $4,000. Understand the rule 72 and how money works now, guys. Which refrigerator would you buy? So a lot of times, whole life agent, they are able to sell their products because they only give you half the story. The pretty side, everything that T was telling you about how you can use it for your kid's college, you can pull money out on a rainy day, but they have conveniently hold out a lot of information, basically. Right. So this is how you explain banking fridges, funny banking and fridges, to get the client to understand that a lot of times these things sound pretty, but there are better options out there, and we are licensed to help you do both. Now, the next scenario is that, let's say you went over everything already and they have a life insurance policy. Okay, so you ask them how much coverage do they have in the presentations.
You don't have control over the screen.
Oh, I don't.
Tell us.
So you ask them how much coverage do they have, and they give you a number. Say, Sunday, how much coverage do you currently have?
150,000.
Okay, 150,000, great. And do you feel overinsured, underinsured, or not so sure?
Underinsured.
Underinsured, okay. So, we're able to help you with that. That would be something you'd be interested in.
Yeah.
So when you got your policy, did you get your policy because you wanted for the protection, the investment, or both?
Both.
Both, okay. And if you were to make a change, what would interest you more? Lower cost, more coverage, or better return?
Lower cost and more coverage.
Okay, great. So what we find out is that everyone really benefit by allowing us to evaluate the existing life insurance policy, and we promise that we will not ask you to make any change unless it's significantly better for you and it's obvious to you. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Right. So if we were possibly could significantly make that change, more coverage, better cost, do you have any emotional attachment to your policy that will prevent you from making a change?
No.
Okay, so this question is really important because you want to find out who they sold the policy from. If they say, yeah, I got it from my sister-in-law, there's no way I'm selling it, my wife's gonna kill me, I'll get more coverage, but I can't cancel it. So you knew that you don't have to fight it. If she wanted more coverage and she don't want to make the change, sometimes it's better not to pick the fight because you know you're not gonna win. Okay? So at this rate, I'm gonna ask them, hey, do you have access to your policy online? Can we take a look at it together?
I think so.
Okay, so they have access to the policy online or they have an actual policy. It's really, really easy. There's a whole nother training that Sheila do it all the time on how to review it, how to kill it. And we can take a look at that. I'm not gonna go over that right now. But if you can get the policy, they already trust you enough now. They already saying like, hey, all right, let's go. I'm ready to make a change. But if they're resistant to give you the policy, they say like, no, I don't have access to it. I don't know where it is. Like I say, I have no clue. It's in the safe somewhere. It's in the safe somewhere. I don't even have a safe, but it's in the safe somewhere. So if he's reluctant to give it to you, there are a few ways that you can do to kind of disturb it. Because immediately in my head I say, okay, if you're resistant, it's my job now to create doubt, to disturb you, to make you want to go find this policy, right? And a lot of time when I cross this stage, I'm already knowing that I kind of like stop the presentations because they're not really willing to share any more information with me now. They're probably not paying attention to my presentation anymore at this point. So I kind of, I give them a little thing. I say, Mr. and Mrs. Clients, I know that you have, you told me you have this cash value life insurance policy. You just you don't know anything about it by now. Do you feel like it's important to kind of like understand how it works?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you mind if I just give you a little bit, like, a tutorial of like what I have learned and how they really work?
Sure.
Okay, so so a lot of times these cash value life insurance policy are more expensive in cost that you can get versus a term for the same amount of coverage you get for your family. Typically 5 to 10 times more.
Oh.
And only because it have a saving component that is attached to it, called cash value. Now, the agent who sold it to you have conveniently left out a few things about this cash value component that you're paying extra every month for. So I'm gonna kind of go over those 3 things, there's 3 main things that he have conveniently left out. So I don't put up funny banking at this point. I put up something where I can just buy 3 things that I want to share with them. And the 3 things I'm going to share with them is I'm going to say, number 1, that they conveniently left out is that when you started this policy, the first 1 to 3 years, sometimes up to 5 years, all of the money that you pay into this cash value account, they keep all of it. So what do I mean by that? Charlie, what do you bank with right now?
PNC.
PNC, okay, so Charlie, let's say you walk into PNC and you starting a saving account with PNC. And the representative there say, hey, thank you so much for being a great client. I'm looking to build a long-term relationship with you. just so you're completely clear, the first 1 to 3 year, every deposit that you put into the savings account, we're keeping all of it. How comfortable are you with opening this account?
No,
Not really, right? So you definitely don't want to open this account.
no.
So but unfortunately, when you sign up for your life insurance policy that have a cash value, that's what you signed up for. So now the second thing that they conveniently kind of left out is that after the first, sometime 3 to 5 years, when you actually have some money in there already, you have some cash value accumulated, build up in there, Shondell, and you go back into PNC, and PNC tell you, hey, awesome, you got some money in here now, we can definitely, let you get some of this money, but unfortunately, unless you close the account completely and surrender and close it all out, you won't have access to the money, but you can borrow the money if you need it, and you will have to pay it back to us with interest because you borrowed it. If they explain to you that way, how comfortable were you to continue depositing money to this account?
I would not be depositing.
You're not gonna take deposit, okay. So unfortunately, when you make your next payment, that's what you're agreeing to with this type of policy. So, and then the last thing, which is probably the worst of all three things, that they don't tell all of us, is that when you do pass away, the saving cash value component of this policy, they keep all of it. Now, in a very, very rare case where some of our clients have a variable universal life insurance policy with an option B, then they get both. But the majority of the policies floating out there are option A or whole life, which you don't get both. So, Shondell, what I really mean by that is like a lot of times these life insurance policies, they have two components. And let's say like you have a $100,000 life insurance policy. You don't know how much you have, do you? You don't remember? You don't remember. Okay, so let's take, hypothetically speaking, you have 100,000, okay? And you've been making extra payment into this policy, and now you're 80 years old, right? And you passed away, and you have roughly about $80,000 saved up in your cash value policy, right? And when you pass away, your beneficiary, your family gets to choose one or the other. The death benefit or the cash value. The 100,000 or the 80,000. What do you think they would choose? The 100,000. So unfortunately, when they choose 100,000, to them it seems like nothing's wrong. My parents paid for a life insurance policy, I get 100,000. But the reality of it, the 80,000 of your cash value, the company keep. So if they cut you a check for 100,000 and they kept 80,000 of your money, how much money did they really pay your family? 20,000, right? So if you paid for 100,000 the whole time, but your family actually only get 20,000. So they actually didn't tell you everything you know. Now, understanding everything that I share with you, and if everything I told you was true, right? Would you want to continue to keep this policy? So can you see how it's really important to really have your policy and review it and understand what is in it?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that's something that you want to find?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I think
So-
I know it. I think I know it.
So look, if your policy works exactly like this, we can make some changes that can show you some of the option. But if we review it, it doesn't work with this, it is great. Like a unique situation I've never seen before, all of my life, working in the industry, then I will not ask you to make any changes. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So why don't we set up another time, we can get back together. How long do you think it will take for you to find your policy? A few days, maybe?
Like 5 minutes.
5 minutes? So I try to kind of just paint this picture for them to disturb them. If we can disturb them enough where we create doubt on what they have, hopefully it prompts them to get their policy. But if you can get the policy, you're probably going to get a win there. Yeah, that's it, guys. That's all I have.